What's up, guys? Today we got a little real estate investing training for you all. So if you all want to get started in real estate or grow your real estate investing business, today is the day. Now we're going to get straight to the pen and pad. That's why I got my board with me today. And we're going to talk about the people that you target to market. Right now, we're in a very specific market right now. So your advertising dollars does matter. Even though we're buying houses with no money, what really costs us is our time and our marketing efforts. Is how much money does it take us to get a lead and how much money does it take us to actually close on a deal? With the way the market is right now, you can either spend a lot of money, to get a deal, but then it's just like, well, this is my average deal size and this is how much money I'm really making. Or you can focus in on your marketing, what is working for you, increase your average deal size, and then you're spending less per deal. So today I want to help you guys expand and increase your business by helping you with your list. Now, whenever you're pulling lists, most of the time you guys are going to be doing some kind of cold outreach. So it might be cold calling, text messaging blasts, RVMs, or something of the sort around there. When you're pulling a list, you might be doing something hotter, like sending out direct mail or targeting that list on Facebook. And this video is going to be made specifically for you all to help buy the best list, so that way you can spend the least amount of money and make the most amount of money per deal. Let's get to talking about the best motivated seller list right now that you can buy. What's up, guys? It's your boy Sawan Belcher. This is me taking action right here on YouTube. If you guys are here for the first time, go ahead and do yourself a favor and like this video so more videos like this can pop up on your feed. See, here we talk about real estate investing. Not just buying houses and selling them. We also talk about how to get into your own personal house, like your dream house, with no money out of your own pocket. And then we also talk about leveraging all of your assets so you can continue to grow and replace your 9-to-5 income with real estate profits. It's not just one thing for us. It's not just wholesaling, fix and flip, Airbnbs, group homes, or short-term rentals. It's all of that and the above, so that way we can buy back our time. Okay, so today we're talking about targeting those people who we need in order to give us the best deals. First of all, we're going direct to seller, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. As a real estate investor, as you get good, as you get better, you will be able to reach out to people who have opportunities already and get a quick layup sometimes. But you don't want that to be your number one source, because going to sellers directly is and will always be the best way to get a deal at a discount with potential cash flow. I've had several sellers that will agree to sell me properties on payments with $0 down. First payment starts in 6 months, and I buy it at 50% equity. I've had several sellers that don't know how to solve a title issue. I'll know how to solve an issue. I'll buy a $300,000 house for $6,000. This happened several times. I'll have several sellers that will see working with me as a benefit, versus working with the realtor, because I don't take a commission out of what I promise them that they'll get. So you guys want to make sure that you're going direct to seller. Like I said, you can have other marketing channels as well. Getting deals from probate attorneys, getting deals from other wholesalers, getting deals from the auctions. Hey, great, that's all good. But truly, the best real estate deals are going to come from direct to seller. So who, should we be reaching out to? Well, first of all, let's talk about the must-haves. Okay, in order to find the best motivated sellers, so that way we don't have to spend a lot of money on marketing, and so we can talk to the people who really want to talk to us. Because truly, out of the people who have houses right now, most people have equity. Honestly, the supply is still the supply of inventory is still low nationwide. So there are more buyers than sellers. So they have plenty of options right now. So you want to make sure that you have the best list so you can target the people that you want to talk to, not anyone else. And so the first thing we need to make sure that our list has is accuracy. Okay, we want to make sure we're buying our list from a credible source. I know some guys have talked about buying lists from Fiverr. Some guys have talked about I don't know, just these random places to get lists. And I'm just like, where did they get the list from? Did they say how long they've had the list? Because every list is not created equal. You see, the accuracy of the list, whether they own the home or not, people are selling every single day. So if you buy a list of 1,000 names and addresses, but 300 of them have already sold, you bought 700. You didn't buy 1,000, you bought 700. Okay, so just understand that some data providers are append data websites, and some list providers are actually pulling direct from source. Direct from source will be, right from the courthouse. You see, because when somebody goes to file eviction and you pull an eviction list and they got that from the courthouse, clearly it's based off of the evictions that was filed at the courthouse. You see what I'm saying? Or if you go to pull a recent arrest list, clearly, when the police did the police report and they're going into, whatever software that they have, just pulling police reports that was filed in the last 6 months. Hey, great. That's accurate data. Getting credit bureau data, pulling a list of people who have bad credit, people who have, a 600 or below that own homes, and you're buying that from a source that uses TransUnion, clearly that's accurate. But some append data websites, what they do is they will sell information that they collect from someone else. One of the reasons why I don't like PropStream, not to say that you can't use them and get deals, but one of the reasons why I don't like PropStream is that at one point they were just really trying to get people to upload their list to PropStream. Okay, that was their thing. Upload your list, we'll give you free skip tracing. And in my opinion, websites like that, they're gathering data from other people, whether it's correct or not, so they can resell. And me personally, I just don't rock with that. I want to get good, solid, accurate information so I can make less phone calls and talk to more people. Next point is your list must be a pain point list. There are very general lists that most people online will talk about. Okay. And they're just like general lists. Now, don't get me wrong. You can pull leads out of any list, but we're talking about making less calls, talking to the right people at a particular time. Everything has to be aligned when these leads come up. An absentee list doesn't mean I actually want to sell. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that I'm having financial trouble. It doesn't mean that my house is in financial distress. It probably will generate some leads for you. And over time, you will be able to close deals from that. But we're trying to get to the people that need to sell today. Okay, so I like to do my best to pull pain point lists, people that are going through an issue right now. Okay, so that's what I was just mentioning. Recent arrests, bankruptcy, divorce, eviction lists. I love those smaller niche lists like that. Now, the only downside to those smaller niche lists like that is the size of the list. If you're going for a divorce, how many people in your county are really getting a divorce right now? Maybe 1,000 people a month, or maybe even, smaller depending on your county. So you have to make sure that you have enough. Size is important because it takes a certain amount of phone calls to talk to a certain amount of people, to get a certain amount of people interested in selling right now, to make a certain amount of offers to get one person to say yes. Does that make sense? So I always suggest that you pull a list of 3,000. If you can't get a list of 3,000 from that one, and you're just starting to pull data, or maybe you've pulled, 40,000 records already. You might want to continue with the bigger list. You might want to continue with the bigger list that are 3,000 or more, so you can really, so that way you can really get your data up. With this business, with the dollars that we need, we're calling 300 to 500 people a day. And so if you only got a list of 1,000, you skip traced it, so you only got phone numbers for 900 of those. You go through that list and, you go through that list in a week, you don't call them twice during that week. And so you need to pull a decent size list. Okay. Cause size is everything. Okay. You don't want to just burn through that list and now you don't have no money to buy your next one. Okay. Size is everything. All right. Next is after we have a list that is accurate, that has a pain point, and is the correct size, then we need to think about what do we do with this list? Like how often are we actually pulling this list? Now, some lists you're not gonna pull maybe once a year. One of the worst things I could have done was I pulled a list, but I pulled a list that only got updated. It only got updated once a year, but I pulled it 3 times in that year. It was a waste of money. Some lists you can pull weekly. So like my pre-foreclosure list, my notice of defaults list that we get directly from the county updates those lists every Friday for my particular counties. So that's a good list to upload every Friday. And I like uploading it every Friday because it's fresh new stuff every Friday. Some people might only be updating that list once a month. But of course, if I'm uploading it every Friday, I'm ahead of the game. You know, some lists you might have to just pull, once or twice or quarterly, just depending on what kind of list it is. I suggest trying to figure out whoever that list provider is, figuring out where they're getting their data from, and then how often that list is updated. Some of these data mining softwares, like Deal Machine and PropStream and those kind of things. If you just call and ask their customer support team or list source, if you call and ask their, support team, how often are these lists, updated, you can create your schedule to pull that list around how often it's updated, and then that way you'll be ahead of the game. Okay. And then also, how often do we market to it? Now, how often do we market to a list depends on how hot or cold the list is. The hotter the list is, right, the more we call them, or the more we make a contact, I should say. So it's not just calling, it's texting, it's Facebook messaging, it's emailing. They're sending them the mail as well. You really want to hit people everywhere, but how often you market to them is really going to depend on how hot or cold the list is. The colder the list, the less you market them. The hotter the list, the more you market to them. Like pre-foreclosure, if they're 90 days behind, clearly those people we want to hit up as much as possible. I might suggest that you're sending those people mail, you're sending them RVMs, and you might even have somebody door knock them. Door knock once a month, call them 3 times a week, send them RVMs out once a week. You want to hit them as much as possible. And it's really just going to depend on, like I said, how hot or cold your list is. And then also, how long do you keep your list? Okay. I talked to guys, let's say, hey man, I pulled this list back in 2017, man, but I haven't really hit it in a while. Should I be hitting that list? You should absolutely be hitting all of the lists that you've ever gotten. So one thing I always tell people is whenever you buy a list, we're marketers first. So whenever you pull a list, you need to have like a vote, you need to have like a vote where you put that cash. I mean, that's cash. You paid for it. You need to have a bank account where you store that cash at. So that way, when you need to access it, you can. And cash from 2017 is the same as cash right now in 2024. It's more hot. Okay, so you can hit that list as long as you have it, as long as you know where it is, as long as you have phone numbers to it. Continue to hit that list. People that own houses in 2017 may still own the same house in 2024. So in my opinion, do not throw away your old list. Keep that thing, work it, and squeeze it until it's dry. Okay, now lastly, my top list. Okay, my top list. After you found a list that's accurate, has pain points, size, and you figure out how often you need to hit them, this is what I've come up to be with like my hottest list that I get the best juice out of when I go to squeeze a list down. Okay, so number 1 is the 65 and up list. That is the seniors, I call it the seniors list. Okay, the baby boomers, they have more equity than ever. Also, this whole 401k system really is not working. So these people are picking up side hustle jobs. They working at Walmart as the greeter at the age of 77, and all this other kinds of stuff. And they need money. Their kids is having to move them into their house and those kind of things. And people are like, multiple families or multiple generations are staying in one house these days. So these people are looking to sell. Secondly is no data. See, no data is one of the best lists out there. People don't even understand, but this is a list that you only pull one time though. Computers, if you haven't realized, computers is still like new. Like people in my generation, when I was in elementary school, the screens were still black, blue, and white, you know? And that was really like in the 90s, you know? So if you consider that governments, you know, credit scores and all those kinds of things didn't really go digital until like the 80s and 90s, then what about those people who are not in this, I don't know, cloud, you know? What about those people that never sold? So essentially what no data is there's no last known sell date, there's no last known sell price. You know, there might not even be like an owner on record. I think that's what it is. But essentially you can get this one right here from listsource.com. It's one of the best lists because like I said, these properties have been in generations and generations and generations. Lastly is the hot zip code list. Now, if you guys aren't a part of my Patreon, you can join the Patreon for just $7 a month. But the hot zip code list is essentially you learning where investors are buying in your area. Like what neighborhood are they focused in on? And there's thousands of transactions, you know, going on in that particular zip code, and you focusing just on that zip code, pulling every house in that particular zip code where investors are currently buying at and hunting at, you being that deal finder, you know, for those investors. So if you guys like this video, if you guys, you know, learned something today, go ahead and drop a flame in the comments. Go ahead and like the video and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.